Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first pod I have done since I've gotten back from what I think I was in New York this past week. I'm pretty sure I was at BravoCon. This might be a simulation, who knows? But what better person to talk to today than somebody that I got to see multiple times this weekend? I feel like I've known her for years now, but we finally got to meet in person, and it probably was one of the better times of her life just meeting me. We'll get into all of that. You know her from the very popular podcast Bravo While Black. Now Aaron is not joining us today, but our good friend Kaya is, who was not only at the event but covering it for DirecTV as well. Kaya, welcome back to the show. How are you holding up?
I am barely alive. As you guys can tell by my voice, it's almost like done with. My vocal cords are fried. My face is dehydrated. I've never had to do so many like moisturizing masks. But
Dude, I'm a
I could
dude. I
mask
don't
for
even
more.
have moisturizer. Where I like I'm so fucking like I've gained like like probably 70 pounds and seven like wrinkles on my left eye. It looks like I got hit, like I looks like Heather Gay and whenever she gets hit in the season of Salt Lake, I just literally have a black eye for some reason.
Listen, but it wasn't it the best like 4 days of your life, and it doesn't even feel like it was that long ago, but yet it still feels like it was like a year ago. I don't
Each
know, it's
day
just
was a
weird.
year. Each day was a year, you guys. Kaya was so Kaya, by the way, she recaps her whole experience on their episode as well. So go check that out. But I just want to warn all you podcaster fans this week that a lot of your favorite podcasters are going to have really shitty voices. So just
Yeah.
try to bear with that. We're going to try to give you as much, and I'm going to try to give you as much information as I can. But Kaya was great because I first saw her the Thursday night before BravoCon at the DirecTV event, and that was where it was with Kathy Hilton, Ashley Darby, which I got to go introduce you to Ashley Darby because she loves
Yes.
loves Kaya and Bravo While Black. And I mean, what do you sum up on anything? Even that first night, what were your thoughts? Just getting in that
That
room.
first night, remember the first night where we were literally waiting on an Uber outside and I was just like limping already?
Yeah,
That
you go
that
and
was
I
like
go, where are you going
reset.
next? You're like, I'm going to go home and sleep. I'm like,
Exactly.
okay, man, see you later. And then I went and like partied all night at the hotel.
What people don't understand is that I did the most genius and the stupidest thing. I stayed in Jersey, actually. I stayed in Onion. I keep calling it Onion City, Union City, New Jersey.
Onion City, what up? Yeah.
What up, dude? I got my dual citizenship. Like I was in New Jersey 1 minute, New York the next minute. But the problem is that as soon as I got to like, there's this thing called the Jersey Tunnel that I learned about recently. And like as soon as I got to the Jersey Tunnel in the Uber, it was like a straight shot out of the city and to the Airbnb that I was staying at. Whereas like when you go to New York and you're staying and there's a bunch of people there, you have to literally your Uber has to navigate the Manhattan traffic. So I kind of like avoided it, but then staying in New Jersey made me not want to go anywhere else. Like once I got back to the Airbnb, I'm like, okay, who's got a party? I'm gonna hit this party. I'm gonna go to this party. I'm gonna go to this person's hotel room. I'm gonna meet up with that person, go to dinner. As soon as I got home, I was like,
None of that
bye.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck all
Well,
of you.
see, now that I made the
And
mistake. Well, I made the mistake, but it was also a blessing, but also a mistake. Got to stay in the hotel where all the Bravo Lebs did. And so my real BravoCon started when I'd get back to the hotel because that was the night I saw, like, well, not that night, but like the night after was when I saw Jen Shaw dancing without abandon. I had to see Freddie Mellencamp and Tamra like up everybody's asses on a nightly basis. I mean, this Freddie Mellencamp
were they
dude.
just in the lobby? Like, what was
No,
that?
no,
Please tell me
they were
how.
all the way. So there was the lobby of the Gansevoort, which is like the check-in, and they
Okay.
have a small lobby bar. And the small lobby bar is great. Like I hung out there many times, but it's small. But upstairs in the penthouse, it's like this whole big area where you can actually throw a party. And I guess Bravo threw the official party there. I wasn't invited to it, but I was staying there. So I was just able to go up there. So, because then I went to the bar and they were like free drinks. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, make it a double then. And they're like, we can't do doubles. And I was like, okay, give me two drinks then. I was like, give me two drinks
Exactly.
from
One
for
for
me and my
me and my
imaginary
other
friend.
personality.
So it was, but that was the night where Jen Shaw wasn't supposed to be there and she snuck in. Andy Cohen was there flirting with two dudes that I had not recognized at all. But Freddie Mellencamp, I call her Freddie. You guys know by now.
You know,
Like
John Mellencamp's daughter.
Oh yeah, but Tamara at least is on a show. But Freddie isn't, like, Freddie thinks she's fucking Walter Cronkite, and I can't get over it. She thinks she's like a roving reporter, and I'm just sorry. You guys can be Freddie fans all you want, but man, like, I mean, Tamara brings it almost to a point where it's so shticky, but she brings it. You can't trust her as far as you can throw her. But even so, I saw so many interesting things. But that night at the Kathy Hilton thing, did you participate in the conga line, or were you like, fuck this?
No, I wasn't like, fuck this. I was actually like a bystander. I just wanted to see what would happen and how it would assemble because it started on the stage, then it was off the stage, then it was around the room. And then I also was trying to get those sandwiches that they passed on the trays.
Yeah, they were passing around these mini sandwiches and Casa del Sol tequila drinks.
Because I didn't even like eat that whole day. So I was like, oh,
me either.
And then I finally saw Maritza.
Maritza was hanging out with Kaya for a lot of the night because I initially had to go upstairs immediately, and Kaya texted me like, do you have an extra battery? I go, I don't, but I know Maritza does. So they found each other downstairs, and then when I was interviewing Teresa and Whitney, I came back downstairs, which, by the way, that is interviews you'll never hear because the bag got stolen. But trust me, best interviews of my career.
That's what got stolen? Your interviews got
Kaya, it was my man bag with my wallet, my Zoom recorder, and 2 microphones and my business cards.
You don't upload anything to the cloud?
No, because it's a digital SIM card that was in the Zoom recorder. So I was going around BravoCon just interviewing fans and stuff too. So I'd be like, what was your favorite thing today? What was that? So all that stuff's on there too. Luckily, I had another Zoom recorder that you held for me on Sunday at that one panel. Remember? That was my backup Zoom recorder. But like, no, I didn't get to download the Zoom card before it got stolen.
We got to find that bag, guys. Like, if anyone knows where that bag is, please let us know. And if you work at Lost and Found, especially, you lost it at the Manhattan Center? Or
they're so tired of hearing from me. They're like, we know bag. Yes, we know you're bag. You know, like, they're so tired of hearing from me. And it's so funny because even my friends are calling. So I have a bunch of people. And by the way, keep calling them, you guys. I mean, I can't imagine it being a Bravo fan because I would think they would want, like, I'll give you the Zoom recorder. Just give me the card in it back and give me my wallet just because there's some personal things from my mom in my wallet that I keep that I want to hold on to. So please, other than that, you can keep all the credit cards. I'll let you spend a little bit on it. I'm broke, but like, you know, I just want those 2 things back. That's it. You know, the bag you can have too. It's Muji, $23. It's yours.
Listen, we have to find it, seriously. I didn't know that, like, I know you lost your equipment, but I didn't know that you actually have lost interviews. And that was the part that killed me. But
that was the part that killed me was the interviews, because I'm like, I can always eventually replace. I can put that on my Amazon like credit card, which I don't have anymore. But I can put it on, you know. But what I'm saying, okay, sorry, you guys. This is all inside baseball, but I hope you can follow it a little bit. But then we got to meet Ira Madison together. We got to meet Ira Madison together that night, and he was so nice. I told Kaya, please. I tried to push her to say, get him on your podcast, but you didn't. You pushed out.
Yeah,
it's not a groupie. Your colleagues.
And then guess what? Like, I took a picture with Ira that you took, and I DM'd him, and I was like, it was such a nice thing to meet you. Like, I was too scared to ask you on my podcast. And he was like, I'd love to be on your podcast. So we exchanged.
You motherfucker. Emails. Now, I didn't even.
Okay, I got some more interviews coming up too. I have Maya from Summer House who said she wants to be on my podcast.
Yes.
Vanita. I sent. Shout out to a friend of the pod, Samaj, who like assisted me with everything.
Yeah, by the way, Samaj is on the show a lot, and especially on the Patreon. He was around. I got to see him a bunch because of Kaya this weekend. Yeah, and I sent Samaj to Vanita because I was live streaming the medicine panel, which got lit. And you don't watch Married. Everyone boo Ryan like we booed Lisa Rinna for not watching Married to Medicine because that was the best for the best show ever.
Anyways, so Benita from Southern Charm is gonna come on. Ira's gonna come on. Ashley's gonna
Can
come
you
on
tell
again.
Vanita like fuck all those people, man? I watched the second part of the finale finally today from last week, and I'm sorry. This is my theory on this. You always pick on the one you think is weaker. And although I'm Leva, Madison, Naomi, just because you guys all think you're all powerful and mighty, you pick on the nice one. But guess what? She's not going to be nice forever. And like, that's just not cool. She's apologizing now, but I felt like it was really shitty. And she was used as a punching bag for the remainder of the season. And you especially saw it at the Southern Charm panel on Sunday. And you saw it on that reunion. Like that she seems like a real person. And I just thought it was shitty how they all use her as a punching bag. Okay, sorry.
They definitely did. I heard about it. I stopped watching Southern Charm. The second Olivia was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" Like that, she was more offended that Benita called Catherine racist than actually trying to get down to the bottom of what happened. So I was like, "Okay, this was never for me, but this is just absolutely too much." So I stopped watching, but I heard about it. Who else? Okay, Amy Phillips is going to be on the pod too.
Amy's the nicest. Amy's
yes,
awesome.
I'm excited about that. And we are also rebranding soon because we want to talk about more than just Bravo, but Bravo is our group. So we're
Wait, is
working on
that
the
going to be
name.
Bravo? Well, is it going to be Bravo while black and white and you're having me on?
Yeah, we need one white person to raise the valuation
Yeah.
and see if we can get picked
Wait,
up.
I asked Kaya that this weekend. When are white straight males finally going to get our due? Like, when are we finally going to get our due?
It's coming, dude. I know that it's been a hard and long road, but change is gonna come for y'all.
Okay, so favorite moment of that Thursday night besides, because for me it was just all a blur and none of it seemed real.
Yeah, my favorite moment was actually like I got to talk and get a video with Kathy Hilton, which I had to post because it didn't feel like it was real. Like I'm here
Wait,
because
I
I
didn't get to
am
see
a
that video. What
fan
did
of.
Kathy say to you?
It's on my timeline. We were talking about Casa del Sol. We were talking about how the drinks had cool names. What happened was that the people from DirecTV was like, "Listen, you can mingle with everyone here. This is why you're here." Because I didn't want to bother anyone. I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's there. I don't want to
Yeah, I
bother
was
them."
like,
They're like, "No, go up to them.
dude,
Literally go up to them."
Kaya, I told Alyssa from DirecTV, I said, again, I'll give you $300 if I can get a picture with Kathy. She goes, just go up to her and get a picture. Are you an
This
idiot?
is what we're here for.
She goes, that's what you're here for.
Shout out to Alyssa and Lauren. We got
and shout out to Suji and all you girls. Yeah.
Yes, shout out to all of them. Bailey, like those are my dogs. We love you. Thank you so much for this experience. But so Kathy was like walking across the room, and I'm like, oh, it's actually like Kathy because I just thought that a cutout of her was there because they kept like walking around with a cutout of Kathy Hilton. I'm like, is she actually here or is the cutout of her here? So I finally saw her in person.
By the way, she kind of looks like she does look like a cutout of herself. Like there are times where I was like, oh shit, that's the real Kathy Hilton and not a cutout of Kathy Hilton. She's that.
I was
Kathy
like, okay,
Hilton.
that's good enough for me. Like
yeah, I was like, I had an hour
conversation.
conversation with the cutout of Andy Cohen on Saturday night.
Like Casa del Sol. Okay. And then, so I saw her walking across the room. I was like, can I have a picture? And she goes, yeah. And she's like, go to the bar. So she stops to play the basketball because, they had little activities for us to do that no one really did. But she stops and she literally shoots 3 balls and she misses every one. And I'm like, amazing. And then she goes to the bar and instantly people flock around her. So I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get this picture. But then she saw me and she remembered me because I'm Black, guys. So sometimes that actually helps, especially in these times when they don't want to be
finally
accused of saying terrible things. So she was like, you. And she literally pointed at me and I looked around and I was like, me. And she was like, come here. I remember telling you that we could take a picture. And I was like, yeah. So then instantly I put it on record. So the guy that was taking the pictures, he had to record the conversation that me and Kathy had. So we were just talking like we knew each other for years. I was like, I love you. The tequila is popping, girl. You look amazing, sweetie. And she's like, thank you. Yeah.
I was in support of what you did with Paris as a kid. I agree with everything.
Listen, we don't talk about it. And then she was just so nice. Like I felt the spirit of like Michael Jackson and like the most
Miss Kathy, I'm so proud of you, Miss Kathy. I'm so proud of you.
Hi. But yeah, and I got the video and I was like, what? So I posted it. And that was like my most liked video from the weekend. Because by the way, guys, shout out to everyone who followed us. I gained like 1.3K just
Dude,
from this weekend.
I gained like 3K this week. I was like, what the F? Dude,
You were everywhere.
well, because like how it just was so weird that people, and by the way, but now just I'm always the glass half empty. I'm like, get ready for the great unfollowing of 2022. Like they're all gonna just ditch me by the end of the week.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Um,
but it was a good 300, especially when they weren't hot top. But like that was I got 4K likes on that picture. So the highlight was meeting Kathy and getting a video with her, but also meeting Ashley, who was like just speaking like, "Oh, that interview that you guys did means so much to me. I really like you guys.
Guys,
I
I'm
want you to
telling you,
win."
I went up to Ashley first and apologized for my coochie craving. And I said, and I go, I do a show. She goes, yeah, what kind of show? And I'm like, oh no, she knows the show. I was like, oh no. I said, I just want to apologize for the coochie craving thing. I think a lot of us did it, but I'm sorry. And she goes, she was actually super nice. And I go, and also I'm with Kaya and she loves you. And she goes, oh my God, Kaya. She goes, bring her over here. So I ran and got her where she was sitting with Maritza. And I've got a bunch of pictures of it. Like Ashley was truly more excited to meet Kaya than Kaya was to meet Ashley.
I was just more nervous. I didn't think that like we were gonna like meet these people. And then like the
Right?
good thing is that other people that weren't on the flyer, because we had a flyer of who was gonna be there. And I'm like, I highly doubt that Teresa Giudice and Kathy Hilton are gonna show up to this shit. And they sure shit did. But then other people came, like Cynthia Bailey came, and
Cynthia
I was
Bailey
like,
came towards the end, you guys, and was hanging out with Ashley, right? Like was she with
yeah, she
Ashley?
was hanging out with Ashley, and
Yeah.
then Dr. Simone from Married to Medicine came, and I was like, it was just like,
Did you
I
see
don't
Ray
know, it was
Sani?
weird.
Did you see?
Oh
Did
no!
Yeah, she
I
was
didn't know
there
he
at the
was
end of
taking
the
a
night.
picture. I would
She
love
got there towards the
to.
end of the night. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like by that time I was just like, all
And
right,
wait,
I
you
pack it
guys,
up.
I was standing next to Justin, Whitney's husband from Salt Lake, while Whitney was doing a pole dance. And she was like,
Yeah,
here it is, everybody here. And Justin was like, he was like a very supportive husband. He wasn't creepy at all. He was just like, yeah, babe. Yeah. Like it was, I got a picture with Louis just because I was like, I've got to get a picture with Louis. And then I was like, I can't make fun of this because it's for DirecTV, but I had to get a picture with Louis. I'll show you guys at some point that picture. Um,
I didn't get a picture with Louis, but he said hello to me, and like he was just very nice, and I'm like, oh, I really wanted to hate you, but he was
but by
very,
the way,
very
that's
nice, and then he
Louis's bit.
followed
I think
me.
He followed you.
Yeah, and he reposted me.
What the?
So I'm
Oh,
just like, I can't. It's just like,
wait,
okay, like
did you post a photo of him?
no, I didn't post a photo of him. I was just like, I just saw Louis and I tagged him, and
Oh,
then he reposted it, and then he followed me, and I posted a picture of Teresa and Whitney on the poll because eventually
yeah.
Teresa joined Whitney, and
Well,
Teresa
she
didn't
didn't
know
want
what
to
to
at first.
do,
Teresa
but
was
she just
like,
walked
nah,
around.
no, I don't know if I want to do that. And even Louis was like, come on, babe,
It was like amazing, and I was just like, okay, I have to get back to the Airbnb. So then Friday was like, well, are you ready to move on to Friday, or like, what was your highlight of
No,
Thursday?
I mean, let's go. My experience was just the weirdness of like immediately coming out of the rain. And they said, me and Maritza were rushing over there because we had like stayed watching, like, we stayed in the hotel room because they said we didn't have to, we thought we had to get there at 6. They said 7 then. And so then we like lost our Uber and we had to get a cab, but it eventually all worked out, but we were in the rain. So I'm all like, already known for as to be a quote unquote sweater, but this was actually just soaked with rain. But I get there and they said, you'll have your time with Teresa around 8. We get there right at 7. And then Alyssa is like, no, you do it right now. And I'm like, no. And I'm just soaked with like, this is actually just rain. And they take me and Teresa into a private room. Nobody else is in the room, you guys. Her PR lady is like, yo, ask anything. But I have to mainly focus it around DirecTV, but don't bring up Joey and Melissa. And I was like, I know that, wouldn't do that anyways. And so then all of a sudden you are sitting across from the person that you've watched for the however like many decades I've
Oh
watched
my
this woman
god.
now. She is so done up. And I don't mean in a bad way. It's just, like I kept saying it was like Facetune, but in real life. Like she looked perfect. Like it was
That's how
weird.
multiple of the housewives
Yes.
was. I was thinking the
With
only person who did not look the way that they look on TV was Lisa Rinna. I will say that because I was front
Well,
row.
because you can't see the demon when she's on TV, but when you see her in person, you see the horns, you see the tail, you see all of it,
Yeah.
you know? No, so I'm all of a sudden facing Teresa, and it's like all of a sudden I'm just whipping out my recorder
How
trying
did
to
she
like get it.
greet you? Like,
She's like, hey, how you doing? What? Okay, what? And I know Melissa Feister, who she's best friends with, who they do a podcast now called Namaste Bitches. And so we talk about her for a second, and then we start going, and I ask her about the commercial filming, ask her about the new season. I commend her as a mother. And then I had brought the Cop Without a Badge book with me because I thought it would be a funny thing. But then it was so rushed that I made a executive decision to not bring out that book just in case it's like bad juju for her. And then, but my bag had tilted during the interview. And so at the very end, when I ended it, she goes, is that the Cop Without a Badge book? And I'm like, oh yeah, I was just gonna, cause I can't be like, oh yeah, I just carry it around. No, I was like, I was going to get a picture, but then I didn't want to be rude. And she goes, I'll take a picture with it. And then her PR lady comes in and she's like, yeah, it's fine. And I go, you know what? I'm going to hold it just so Danielle Staub, if she doesn't think you brought it, you know, I said, I'll hold it. So that picture is up online, but that was, and then meeting Kathy, cause I talked to you guys after Kathy and I was like, you had a lovely conversation with Kathy. I was in that one I was getting pushed up to Kathy. Like I was in that line of people getting pushed up to her. So when I did, I'm like, I'm so bad it's good with Ryan Bailey. You like a lot of my posts, you know, but I think I creep people out. I think, I don't know, but she was like, yes. Or like, she didn't hear me, but I'm telling you, it was intense energy to the fact that it was not as bad as my Sutton meeting the next day, but it was still enough to shake me where I was like, oh yeah.
You walked up and you were like, I saw Kathy. And we're like, oh, how did it go? And
it didn't go well. I was like, I mean, we got a picture, but you guys were like, no, that's how she always looks. Cause her face was like, it looked angry. And I was like, oh no. And then I was like, I've always been I was like, you don't know what these people know, but also I'm not egotistical. Like she might not have heard me. And it's just like, I'm just a sweaty guy that's like asking for a picture, you know, like so many
different like ways. All these people lining up for her. So she wants to just like say, yeah
exactly.
Along, you know?
Well, that's why like, that's the one time where it's like, if there was a body switching movie, I would have chose at BravoCon to be like Brad Pitt. Cause then anybody would have been like, oh yeah, sure. Take a picture. Let's do this, you know, like, or like somebody without sweat glands. And then I would have been like, fucking, cause I don't think I was horrible. I thought I looked pretty good this weekend at times.
Yeah, you did. You had your suit. You looked
at times, yes. But then, okay, so then Friday, you go there early because you're covering it for DirecTV. You were in the Beverly Hills panel, right? And
there was.
I saw you right after that. Tell me what your experience, because that was where the rumor that it was Fyre Fest started from. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that.
Okay, so I met a friend at the first panel, which was the producers panel. They talk about like some of the things that they went through, the most outrageous requests, like just behind the scenes info. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty tame.
There was like, no good dirt?
No crowded or anything. Nothing relevant. It was just that Ramona made all the ladies take her wine in their bag one time. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like Ramonster. Yeah. So then the next panel was the Beverly Hills one. I'm like, oh, now I gotta get there early because it's gonna be the top of the town because of these ladies. And the panel itself was kind of like whatever, but it was the sheer like wrath of the soccer moms that put the fear of God in my body. I met a friend at the first panel and like we were like, yeah, we'll meet up at, because BravoCon, it's like you're all fans. And you can meet someone and talk about like, oh, who's your favorite housewife? What's your favorite season?
Yes,
blah, blah, blah.
I had so many conversations like that of people that I didn't know or knew me that's how we would talk. I'm like, what do you think about Rinna? You know, that's where we would bond.
It was so good like that. So I met a girl, and then she is a hustler herself. Okay, like she had a GA pass, and this girl was in VIP. I had a VIP pass, but then that Beverly Hills panel, she was like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go get in VIP. And I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna stand in line. It's VIP. I'm gonna make it a good seat, whatever. People are starting to like line up. I'm like, wow, this is a big line. And they started to like telling people to like go back. You can't come in yet. It's not ready yet. And what they made a mistake of is like letting people stay in there after whatever was there first. So there were a lot of people that knew, hey, this is the same room that they're gonna have Beverly Hills in from the first panel that they had in there. So they didn't clear it out. So that's
They
why
corrected that mistake the next day, you guys. They corrected
Right.
that mistake the next day. Yeah.
It only takes one time for it to happen. And yeah, they learned from it. So they didn't clear it out, but she ran in. This girl got a front seat, and like I went in because some guy told me, "Hey, can you go get your friend because we're not sitting anyone yet?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll go get her." And then I find her there, and she's like, "Hey, I got you a seat," and we're literally front seat. We're next to Margaret's friend who sells purses. Shout out to her. And we just
Margaret Joseph's friend.
Okay. Yeah, Margaret Joseph's friend. She sells purses, and that's how she got her ticket. And then we were just sitting front row, and I'm like, "Wow, scam queen! Like this is not even SVIP. This is the reserved seat."
Yeah.
So this is for people who had press passes. So I'm like, "Wow, okay." And then all of a sudden, you just hear a bunch of rumbling. So what happened was the soccer moms found out that there was nothing between them and security but a curtain. So it took one person to look back there and see that all that was blocking them from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills panel was a curtain. So someone opened the curtain and then
it was just hell.
Down. It was just insane. People were pushing people. People were screaming. People were literally like shuffling the chairs. People were.
It was Astro World without the deaths.
I would definitely compare it to that. Definitely. Some people almost died. I don't know.
I saw Samantha Bush, Bravo historian, right after, and because this is before I even saw you, and she goes, "Did you hear? It was a stampede. It was a stampede." Like it was.
She was not being dramatic. It was literally a stampede, you guys. And then people were like, "Okay, we have to shut this down." The guest relations manager was like, he got on the mic and he was like, "Oh, the fire marshal is going to shut this down if you guys don't give us a chance to rectify things and give everyone a space. So I need everyone that is standing to back up and everyone that is seating to sit down." So there are people that will complain, like, "I'm SVIP, I'm VIP, I'm GA. This is the only thing I want to go to." And they're like, "We cannot honor SVIP or VIP right now." And that was the worst thing he could say. Because after that, it was just like, what are you talking about? Some people paid $2,000, $3,000 to be there. And I understand if you want to get a good seat, like that is insane. So they're like, okay, it's either you want the panel or you don't want the panel. So
then they were like, they should have said, Diana Jenkins is going to sue you if you do not leave the premises. Yeah.
She would, and that's why her ass wasn't there. So they made people like back up and they opened it up. And like the curtains came down and everything. And then all you do is you hear the music start playing. And the music starts playing. And then also Brad Goreski, I think his name is the one.
Yeah, Brad Goreski. Yeah, he's a pro Rena person.
So they play his skits, and we're like, "Ha ha ha!" And
ha ha ha! Let me in, motherfucker! Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then you just hear like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills song playing, and Brad comes on stage, and everyone is like excited and clapping because they turn the lights down. They tell us, "Do not move while it's dark." Like, I don't know. I felt like I was in a place where like I was held captive or something. They're like,
by the way, yeah, this is like if Universal Halloween Horror Nights is listening, we should do a Beverly Hills themed panel next year
BravoCon
at the Halloween Horror Nights. Yeah,
because that was scary. I was like, well, what if I had to pee? They're like, "Do not move."
There was just a stream of urine just falling down. Oh, so how long did they start after it got dark?
Okay, so it was like 10 minutes because they had to like settle everyone and make sure, like, it started late and they really didn't say shit. But okay, so Brad was like, "Okay, welcome to this panel. Thank you everyone for cooperating. Stay in your seats or stay standing up, wherever you are, stay there until this is over with." And then they, introduced like Garcelle, they introduced Sutton, they introduced like all these people. And then they introduced Lisa Rinna.
Wait 1 second before you say this. Who got the biggest applause before that?
Garcelle.
Yeah. Okay.
My people. And so they say Lisa Rinna, and I thought she would get some booze, but I did not like when I say Rinna, my feet were on the floor and they said Lisa Rinna, and she's coming out. And like people literally inhaled so they can get a deeper wound from like the bottom of their esophagus. They're like, "Ah." And
And
like I got
you said
nervous.
you felt it on the floor?
I felt it rumbling, like I felt the rumble on the floor
Well, Kaya,
of them doing.
that could be demons trying to break free from the floor to help Lisa, her people, you know?
Something was help.
Yeah.
Something's going
And
on.
Lisa came out and flipped them off,
And
right?
she flicked everyone off. And then she smiled. I could have sworn I heard the cackling, but it was too loud in there because people were literally trying to get
Hey,
their
it's
brew out that
exactly the
they inhaled.
reception I wanted.
It was very awkward. Like I low key wanted to boo, but I didn't know so many
Oh,
other
you were
people were
so shocked
already
that you
saying to
didn't.
boo.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. Not even that I didn't. I literally was like, "Woo!" just to like combat the amount of booze.
You go,
Because I just felt so
girl.
awkward. Yeah, I have the video. I was like, "Woo!" Like,
So you're
I
saying it
don't
was
know.
so
This is
bad that
like
there was
crazy.
almost like almost empathetic towards her plight, even though she seemed like she handled it well? Or could you
I
see
wasn't even empathetic. It was pure awkwardness
could you
because
see surprise on
everyone.
her face at all? Or did you?
No, she tried to like cover like her face was Botoxed up, like it was freshly Botoxed. So it's like her lips weren't even lips; they were like just like sitting there, like two
I've seen
pillows.
Batman. I know what the Joker
And
looks
then
like.
she just goes like this to the crowd, and I'm like, oh my god! And they started doing louder. So I was like, what the hell is going
Kaya,
on?
I know this wasn't because of me, but my last recap last week or whenever I did it last, I said, when she comes out, let's treat it like WWE. Let's treat it like wrestling and let's fucking get shit down. Now, I know
It
that
had to
wasn't
be
just because of
you.
me,
It
but
had to be you
everybody,
because that's what she said. She's like, oh, it's like WWE, like I'm a heel. And I'm just like,
Lisa,
girl,
I am
no, she was
so
very
honored you
awkward.
listened to the show. Okay. And then Erica Jane comes out after her and it's probably tepid booze at that point.
It was some booze, but it was like I was just in shock with the amount of booze from Lisa Rinna that I was like, okay, whatever. We already know that she's like horrible. So just some key things. It wasn't like the panel wasn't even good. But
Yeah,
just some
that
key
was
things that were
that
said.
was the thing. Brad Goreski, by the way, I think I love what Brad does with style and all that stuff. I don't know if he was the best person to host this panel. Maybe he was because it didn't really stir up anything from what I'm hearing, but maybe that's what they wanted. And from listening to Andy's panel on Sunday, the Ask Andy panel, he said that's why they didn't split. They split up Jersey because he goes, we can't afford to have another reunion right now. Like we don't want to have that Jennifer Aiden shit go down with the drink. Like we needed to split that up. So maybe they wanted to go with the kind of like, let's keep the peace kind of moderator. So there was no moments of revelation or like, oh shit.
Well, okay, so Garcelle. I'm going to try to go down the list of what I remember. Garcelle said that in 2 days she would find out who hired the bots, and it's been 3 days, but I'm giving her a grace period
How is
before
that
I
possible?
proceed.
She'll find out in two
There's an
days.
investigation,
Oh
and
my
the
God.
investigation is
I
going
hope
to
it's
be
not
going
me.
on.
I'm praying to God it's not me.
If you
Wouldn't it be
hired the
great?
bots, then you have my black ass on this
Wait,
podcast.
what if Lisa Rinna pins it on me? Wouldn't that, well, but did you see the first 6 minutes of tonight's, by the way, we have to end this in like 20 minutes because she's got to watch Beverly Hills and so do I. But did you watch the first 6 minutes where Garcelle is like with Diana and like they
Yeah,
are not
yeah, they're
Garcelle,
going at it.
Garcelle,
But she's like, okay, I will say like I'm not blind to what Garcelle does. Like she's 100% saying what's on her mind and does it stir up some shit sometimes? Absolutely. But
yes,
she's not gonna lie to you.
but she's
She's
also
not
a
gonna lie to
smart
you.
way and she's not what I overuse this term now, but I keep like, to me, she's still a reliable narrator because she doesn't overdo it. She's not screaming in your face. When you're
Right.
able to keep a strong, solid voice, like it almost scares me more when Garcelle is upset than when Lisa Rinna is upset, because I'm like,
Yep.
oh wow, it's like when my mom like would just get quiet and steely.
Yeah.
And those moments with Diana, like what I saw in the first 6 minutes where she'd be like, I understand, Diana. I understand. And I'd be like,
It's like she's
damn.
done. You're
Oh,
dismissed. It's
I
like
was
when
like,
someone uses the word like I'm not mad at you, I'm disappointed in you. And you're
and
like, no, please.
it's the first time Diana's realizing her money don't mean shit.
Right, exactly. Oh my God. And then they're talking about like evil versus cunt. And it's like, you know that you take more offense to the word cunt than evil.
Yeah, by the way, that's
Like,
another thing you're going to see tonight, the CUNT word and evil. What's the worst word?
oh,
And like, of course, the Flunky Force 5 are like, evil's the worst word. When Andy's even like, are you kidding me? The CUNT
you
is the
know it's
worst
bad
word.
when Andy is just like, be realistic.
I don't have to fucking spell out evil. I have to spell out CUNT. You know, that's a word I can't say on here, you know?
Oh yeah. Sorry about it. You bleep that out. But yeah, so yeah, Garcelle's like, in 2 days I'll find out who hired the bots or whatever. And then Sutton was asked, "Do you have any regrets from the season?" And she's like, "I regret being Garcelle more during during that time because I love Jackson." She explained that like how sweet Garcelle's kids and mannerable of Garcelle's kids really are, and how she has a special connection with Jackson. She wishes that she stood up more when it came to that. Um, the other thing is Kyle. Kyle, someone in the audience, because Brad didn't really ask any questions to stir up any drama. They didn't do audience questions, what they did for literally, I think every
They
panel
didn't
had
do audience questions. So you,
no
sorry, you
audience
guys, I
questions
was,
because
just so you know, I was filming the DirecTV commercial at that time, or I would have been, that was the one panel I wanted to go to. And I got to it right after, or like, it was like, I guess 20 minutes. I thought it was already over, but I didn't know they started late. So that's why I didn't get to see this, but they had audience questions at every other panel. They didn't have it at Beverly
there
Hills.
was not one. There could not be one because there were so many
Wow.
people there, and that they had to control the crowd, and they didn't have enough security because you guys on the first day they were literally still training people. You could walk up to the staff who's doing their best, and I was like, literally, where's the bathroom? They're like, I don't know, and I'm like, you're not supposed to say that, but okay, I'll figure it out. They were training people on the first day, and this all happened the first day, so there was no audience questions at all because it started late and they had to control the crowd. So so Garcelle, Sutton, Kyle. So Kyle was talking about, shooting Halloween and how, they're friends, blah, blah, blah. And then someone from the audience was like, what about Kathy? And Kyle, like the most cold-heartedly, like, bone-chilling way says, what about Kathy? And then like we literally were like, the room got silent. And we were like, what is she gonna say next? She's like, she's my sister. But it was just like she was so flippant and like not entertained, annoyed about it. And then Brad was like, oh yeah. And they're like, oh no. She's like, the crowd asked me, what about Kathy? I just said, I don't get it. And she was very offended by it. So that was weird.
I mean, don't act like you're dumb, Kyle. Like, also, where was Mauricio this weekend? I was very confused about that. All the house husbands were there. I knew PK was in Austin because Boy George was playing, and he would much rather listen to Boy George than, I guess, his wife. But okay, that's wild. So it just no fireworks at that panel.
No, not really. The only thing other that I can think of is that they were talking about the reunion, and Brad did ask like what really was the big deal with what Kathy Hilton said, and Lisa, amping it up, goes, "We haven't seen everything yet."
Oh
my! So I'm waiting for the
remember
next 3 episodes.
See, remember when Lisa said she was going to spill all at the BravoCon? That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. I only got limited time with you. You did see Lisa Rinna. Explain that situation to me.
Oh yeah, no, that was at the panel that I saw.
Oh, I thought you also saw her at the Rinna beauty van.
Oh yeah. No, I was literally walking over to like get like freaking Uber, like it was like 2 blocks over, and she was literally selling her lip kits, and I had an outer body experience because there were people actually like lined up to get a picture with her, lined up to actually buy the lip kits. Like, it was like a huge freaking line, and I'm like, what is this? Like, why doesn't she have a inside like?
Well, okay, so
like
somebody asked Andy at the Ask Andy panel on Sunday, do you know that Lisa Rinna's had a Rinna lip kit truck around? What do you think about that? And he's like, good. He's like, good for her. Glad she showed up for our panel, and good for her. Dude, I told you guys last week that I still thought she was coming back. After this weekend, she's done. Like, she's not coming back.
You think so? The interviews that she did with Bryce Sander seemed like she's like, yeah, I love this shit. But you can
And
tell that she
Andy
actually
seemed
didn't know
like
what to
Andy
do.
seemed like it was like when he talked about Jen Shaw at the Ask Andy panel, and he said we no longer have a working relationship with Jen. That was when I was like, oh shit. Like, so it was very, there were moments if you were just kind of reading into between the lines, it just seemed like, and like, listen, I'm all conspiracy theory now about Bravo all the time, but I will say you can genuinely usually read some people's reactions. I will tell you, I had like some real honest moments with Jackie from Jersey, where I'd said, hey, I
Is
really
she gonna be
appreciate.
a friend?
That's what I'm about to. So I said we were at the party on, or it was like Thursday night, like after that, Kathy Hilton. I was up in the hotel up top with like Jeff Lewis and Heather McDonald and Lisa Barlow and Lala, and Jackie came in and she knew me and she introduced herself to me, and I was like, holy shit! And I said, hey, just wanted to say you did a great job with your storyline, and I thought that was actually really brave, and I think that probably helps a lot of people. And this was like the saddest moment besides me losing my shit was she said, and look where it got me. And I was like, oh,
Ooh,
wow. She's a friend this
yeah.
season. And like, I will say, I had another interaction with her at the lobby bar the next night with her, and she introduced me to Evan. And they really are a funny couple, man. Like, there were like small, I wanted to tell you this on Sunday night when I was like at the very end, I was upstairs with like Caroline Stansberry and Vicky Gunvalson and all. And you know
What
who's
a mix.
sitting to the corner was Candace Dillard Bassett and Chris, and they were like cuddling by themselves. They were like all kissy on each
Not gonna be
other
here.
and cuddling. And like, I got to tell you guys, like I'm all for dirt and drama, but that was like when I was just creepily watching them from afar.
They're like a genuine couple, and that's why
They
if
look
you
like,
watch
you
Real
know, I was
Housewives
like,
of
that's a
Potomac,
couple.
it's
That's
like
a couple, you got like, they were like, he was like, so like, and not in a creepy way. It was just like, you could tell they were both really happy, like with each other. And that I would love to say otherwise, but that was just not my experience.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's why that night that when that episode aired, it was just like bullshit that Giselle was trying to make, a big deal out of it. And
Who
Candace is very unhappy about that. And she talked about it at the Potomac panel, which
did you
was
have any
on
other,
Sunday.
I mean, the whole weekend was crazy, but like, what were your crazy interactions and experiences with people besides getting cool interviews and stuff like that? Did you get to see anything where you're like, damn, that was dark? Like anything crazy
Nothing
besides watching me
crazy.
sweat after I met Sutton? I think you were one of the people that saw me. I
You
was a
tell me
mess.
about Sutton because you were so nervous to go to her in the first place. And then when you came back, it was like it didn't really go well. What did she say to you?
Dude. So, okay. There's this podcast, Pink Shade, with Mary Payne Gilbert, and she was there, and her assistant Ingrid, who's awesome, and they were standing right next to me. And I bought a tote bag, this tote bag that says Fancy Drew.
Yes, you
Or
do.
actually, one of my listeners bought this for me because she saw me standing in line. She goes, "You made me laugh so much. I would like to buy this for you." And I was like, "What about some just walking around cash?" No, I was joking. No, she bought me this, and if you could line up at like 3:00. So I said, "Fuck, is this the time I meet Sutton?" I didn't think this would but let's do it. And I was going to get a funny picture in my head where I was knelt down on one knee proposing to her, and I was hoping she would play along with it, because I just anyway. So have the tote
It
bag.
culminates in your head differently.
Oh
But when you
yeah.
get there in line and you see them in person, and also like the staff is trying to get everyone
Oh,
out as soon
guys,
as
it's
possible, you can't
craziness
do anything.
because you keep thinking you're going to lose your place in line because people are rushing, and Sutton came in and it got more rushed. And that is just making me more nervous. So I am sweating like to the point, you guys, where I'm wearing a suit jacket, and in the bottom part of the jacket, like I feel back there because I already know my button up shirt is sweating. I go down. I had this bag, that backpack I was carrying that Maritza yelled at me for. I had that backpack on my shoulder, so that wasn't helping. I put the backpack down. I touched the back of my jacket, and it sopped through the sweat. And I'm like, no, because then I'm like, now I can't have Sutton even like put her arm around me. Like, I don't want her to touch any part of me at this point. And so Mary Payne goes first. She has like a delightful conversation with Sutton, and it's my turn. And I go, hey, Sutton, I'm so bad it's good with Ryan Bailey. And I must fucking be speaking Spanish or something to these people because either she knows, because we've had conversations. Like she says,
So Southern.
uh-huh. but I'll like, sweaty man. What you want? What do you want? I'll say, and I'm like, and then I'm like, and then Ingrid, who has my phone, like she's like, oh fuck, and she's just like videoing this because it's not going well. Because I said I'm gonna get down on my knee, and then I'm like, no, Ingrid, I'm like giving her the axe sign, not getting on my knee, and then I'm like, dude, I'm like, cut. And so she's just getting this video. I'm like closing my eyes. You can see like strands of hair, just like sweat, just dripping down. And I'm like, I'm a big fan of yours. She goes, I was the least person she probably talked to in that line. It took me right back to fucking junior high when I told Rachel Beaker I had a crush on her, and she said, I don't have a crush on you. I would rather just be your friend. And that was like, took me right back to there. And then I was so embarrassed. Mary Payne saw that. And then I was so embarrassed. You know, when you're like so embarrassed.
You get her to sign your fancy Drew?
No. I didn't even, I fucking held this on like it was fucking Peter Billingsley in A Christmas Story with the Red Ryder shotgun. Like, it was like, I want a Red Ryder shotgun. Like, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. And then I got I needed to get out of that crowd. And so I go someplace where it was like an empty, and it was fucking Captain Lee's booth. And I was so nervous that I was like, I'll buy a Captain Lee book. Like, didn't even know what the, I love Captain.
Pushing merch. No,
I love Captain Lee, but I was not planning on buying his book, but I wanted to act like I belonged there and spent some money. So I was like sopping. I was like, could I have one Captain Lee book, please? Because there was nobody. I bought that just so I could stand at that table for a second. You know, like where I was just like, I need to catch my breath. And this is how bad it was. And Kai can affirm to this. Maritza left me at the Sutton because she goes, yeah, I sensed it wasn't going to go well. And she left me. She worked for the show, and she goes, I didn't want to see you in pain like that. And I was like, it's your job to see me in pain like this.
This whole podcast was like waiting for you and Sutton to get together. The way that the entire BravoCon is waiting for Ashley and Luke to get together. It's like, you are our Ashley and Luke.
Kaya, I disappointed everybody. I tanked it. No matter how successful I get in life, you'll know that I will always tank. It's entertaining, but it's like fucking brutal to be the person that's entertaining.
It makes your fans like love you more and make you more relatable, because we all like get clammed up when we get near these. And these are like, mind you, in the real world, people don't know these people. But I know.
If I told my dad that, he'd be like, "Who? Wait, the older lady? Wait, are you fucking kidding me?" He'd be like, "I thought I taught you better."
My favorite part is like even from day one, it was just, I remember the first time I heard people screaming, and they were like, "Oh, it was literally like a friend of Blowjack," and I'm like, that's what we're screaming for. But I was like, all right, fine,
guys, I was getting screened for at the end when I started walking out of the hotel, just on the off chance I was somebody. Have you ever been screened for and then they realize, oh, he's not worth screaming for? They're like, oh, okay, and moving on.
You're like, is he one of the OC husbands? No,
have you ever seen back? What's that?
I got screamed for. Lisa Barlow gave me like the best experience of the weekend.
What did she do?
I went up because I had been DMing her. I'm like, I didn't get to go to the Salt Lake City panel, which I heard was lit. Okay. The Salt Lake City panel.
I heard that was amazing too, and I didn't get to see it. Yeah.
Oh my, where were we? Anyways, so I'm going to come and see you. And she was like, okay, I can't wait to see you. And I'm like, Samaj helped me out because it was the Heather Dubrow line. I got a picture of Heather Dubrow, and she's very like, what you think of a housewife is.
She's trained. She's trained.
Yeah, she's got it. Like, you can tell some of the housewives, like Robin was a little bit uncomfortable, with all the people coming up to her and like yelling, and she's like,
Yeah, like you can tell some of these people are still sort of real people. And this is, you got to understand, this kind of environment for any of us is not a real environment. So it was like extremely, especially Friday for me, like we were both, I was shocked. Like, it was so much, but then I can't imagine what it's like for people like Robin or, like people that are actually on the
show.
Shows.
People are like following you and they're like down to earth. Just like in the Potomac panel, Robin was like, I thought y'all knew why I was still living with Ron. It's because I was broke.
Yes,
like,
that was it. Dude,
that was
I made the biggest mistake leaving the Potomac panel for the Southern Charm channel panel. Also, the Ultimate Girls Trip panel was amazing because it was a continuation from what I hear of the Salt Lake panel the day before, because Whitney and Heather truly do have fucking beef. Like
Whitney, cousins. It's like, that's dark.
Dude, you had asked the audience come up and go, will you guys please make up? Candace Bassett was like, you girls held me down during Ultimate Girls Trip 3. You need to make up. She said this on stage, and Whitney goes, I'll make up when the gaslighting stops. Like she was like, it was so.
She thought she ate too, but
Okay, so Lisa Barlow came up to you, loved all of that.
No, she didn't come up to me. I was like in the line. It was supposed to be Lisa and Whitney. It was from Heather Dubrow turn to Lisa and Whitney, and this is how you know that Lisa is like one of the top housewives because it was supposed to be Lisa and Whitney. But when it was time for them to come on, all you hear is people saying Lisa, Lisa, Lisa. Nothing for Whitney, but
I love fucking Whitney, but also Lisa Barlow is legendary. And I hope more people jump on the Lisa Barlow train because I hung out. I mean, I was around Meredith a lot, even upstairs at the Gansevoort. She's a different kind of lady. Like I think I'm more Lisa's speed in terms of how
in real life. In Lisa real life, is more like interactive.
And I talked with John multiple times. John was a really good dude. Like that was what surprised me is the Salt Lake dudes were genuinely nice. I didn't see Seth at all. I'm from Seth. I'm Canton, Dayton, Ohio. I'm Seth. He was not there at all. And Meredith was all flirty with Sergio, Caroline Stanberry's husband, and Vicky was on the other side of him. It was insane. Okay, I know I need to let you go because we need to watch Beverly Hills, which sucks because we barely fucking tipped the iceberg. Overall, though, was it worth it for you?
Absolutely.
You would do it again, right? You would do it again, right?
All over again. From literally.
We need Aaron there next. We need Aaron.
Have Aaron there, like because they were asking me for Aaron. Even like I saw Reza loves me. Reza was like, "Where's Aaron?" I saw I asked
for him too.
Aaron? You asked, and people stopped me though. It like made me feel like a celebrity for a day. They like, "Can I take a picture?" And I'm like, "Of course!" Like, what? Me? You're asking me,
dude? There was one time when I took a picture. I was with Kaya walking. And these two girls stopped, Kaya. And then I was like, just sitting there. They're like, "Are you Ryan?" And I was like, "You know me too?" Yeah, I was with the celebrity.
Ryan. They're like, "Oh, it was so fun. Like, felt like rock stars." But I just gotta get my Lisa story in before I leave. So I finally get up to Lisa, and I'm like, "Do you recognize me?" And she instantly reminds me that she's like, "I was waiting on you. Like, I love you. I can't believe you're here. Thank you for coming." And I'm like, "Lisa, girl, I love you. You ate." I lied to her. I was like, the line from Meredith was nothing like this, and it's it was very long. But Whitney was out too, and she just sees me and Lisa talking, and she didn't know what to do with her hands, so she's just like standing there. She didn't really know me, so she's like, "Who is she?" And then Lisa goes, "Guys," she takes up my hand like we were in I don't know the Olympics. She pulls my hand up. She goes,
"She's black. She's black."
Yeah. No, listen, that's the funniest part. She was like, "This is my friend Kaya," and the crowd goes, "Oh," and I go, "Yeah, follow Bravo while black." And then Lisa goes, "Follow Bravo by black," and I'm like, "Close enough." Yeah. Walk away.
By the way, I started an account called Bravo by Black just a second ago.
Like, I will copyright that shit so quickly. She's like, "Thank you so much for coming and talk to John." So then I go to John. He tells me about Vita's about to be distributed all over like the country, and their seltzer is gonna be distributed. I'm like, "Yeah, nice business talking to me." And John flick up, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm that bitch." Like that was my highlight. Obviously,
I told John I'm a fresh wolf man. That's my my products. So Kaya comes from the podcast Bravo, not by Black, Bravo while Black on all podcasting outlets. Go support them. But I also want to say a special thanks to Kaya, because even leading up to this event, like the last week and a half or 2 weeks before, I really we probably leaned on each other, but I probably leaned on you a little bit more in terms of she's just a really great person that has always been super supportive of me. And I hope I've shown that back to you. We are kind of like all a big creator family. And that's why that was probably one of the most special things besides any of that other crap was meeting the listeners and meeting you guys. So
it didn't even show up the first time. I saw you before.
You just, sorry, your sound just went crazy.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. It felt like I saw you before. Like when you finally came downstairs, "Hey, what's up?" It's right. Like it was just.
It was so normal. Same with Maritza. Same with Samaj. Like it was just like it was like a hug, and then like, okay, let's just continue on about our business. And that was the coolest part of the whole experience. I wish Bravo would take a week off of all original programming so we could actually get some rest, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that. But I will see you at the next one. I know we'll be working together many more times this year. So congratulations on a very successful BravoCon, Kaya, and we will talk to you very soon.
You're amazing, sweetie. Like, even though you lost your shit, you did amazing covering it in the stories. You saw everyone, you had all the tea, you witnessed everything, you have a recap going on, you had the Patreon going on, you wore a suit like a grown man, you had the mustache ready, like you were okay.
I
So we
I
did
just blew it with Sutton and Kathy, but other than that, and my bag, other than
other
that,
than that,
everything's golden.
I think we already knew something like that would happen.
Yeah,
So you're
I
reading
think
us
sadly we
fans.
knew, so that's it. Okay. Love you.
Love you. Bye.